If your website shows a not secure warning in the browser, this video shows you how to fix that. In part 3 of this 3-part video series, I'll show you how to enable SSL and HTTPS on a static website hosted in Google Cloud Storage using the exact site we deployed in part 2, all entirely cost-free. By the end of this video, your website will load securely with HTTPS just like a professional production website. So let's get to it. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our Google Cloud Console, select our project, which for me is my first project, and we're going to find the Compute Engine API product. You can search this at the very top of the search bar if you don't see here, but what's important here is that we want to go ahead and enable this. And it's going to take a little bit of time for it to get enabled, but once it finishes, you'll see these additional options called Manage and a green checkbox next to API Enabled. With that now in place, we can go back and search for IP addresses on the top search bar and then click on the option that then takes us to this view that you see here. Once you're here, what we want to do is select the option External IP Addresses. And then from there, we want to click on Reserve External. All right, from here, we need to fill out the form. So we're going to go step by step. First thing, you can type in really just anything you want, but I'm going to call it AG² holding static IP. Next, we're going to keep this at the premium IP version. You can keep this as IPv4. For the type, be sure to change that to global just to have better performance. And then you can simply click on reserve. And what this is going to do is once it finishes, we should be able to see an IP address assigned to us. And that's what we see here. So no need to copy this, but we will use it later on in the process. Okay, next up, what we're going to do is we're going to type in load balancer on the top search bar and click on the option that comes up as we see here in products and pages. And that's going to take us over to the load balancing section that we see here. And from here, we scroll down and what we want to do is create a load balancer. The type that we're going to want is an application load balancer. So we'll click next. Then we want this to be a public facing load balancer. So we'll click next. And for this, we're going to keep this as a global workload. So we're going to click next. For the generation, same thing. We're going to keep this as the default value. Click next. And then at the end, we're going to have the chance to configure our load balancer. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to do two things. We're going to do the front end configuration and the back end configuration. For the front end configuration, you're going to fill in the values one by one. Start with a name. You can give this any name that you want. I called mine AG² hosting. The protocol is going to be kept at HTTPS. The network service tier, keep it at premium. Keep the IP version IPv4, keep the port 80, but the IP address, you have to change this. Don't leave it at ephemeral. Instead, go ahead and click it and click on the static IP that we created earlier. And then for the certificate, we're going to go ahead and create a new certificate because we don't have one. You just give it a name. For the create mode, select the option Create Google Managed Certificate. And for the domain name, simply enter the domain that belongs to you, including www. And then go ahead and click create. And that finishes our front end configuration. Next up, we're going to click on back end configuration. And the first thing we're going to do in this case is click on create a backend bucket. And that's going to bring up this other form and go ahead and fill this out. The bucket name can be anything that you want it to be. I'm just going to call mine AG² Holdings. For the cloud storage bucket, we're going to click browse. And then we're going to find the Google bucket that we created. Now, in order to reduce cost, I'm going to disable the cloud CDN. CDN stands for Content Distribution Network. And all that does is if you have a website and you want it to perform better, enabling this improves that loading time, but it does come with a higher cost. And because my website is incredibly lightweight, I don't really need to have this enabled. It's already going to load pretty quickly. All right, and that's all we have to do for the backend configuration. We'll then click on routing rules. And for this, we're going to keep things very simple. We're going to keep the mode simple host and path rule. And for the backend one, we're going to keep all of that as the default value that we see here. And then the last thing we do is click on review and finalize. And this just gives you a chance to make sure everything looks good. So go ahead and take the time to review it and then go and then click on create. This is going to then create your load balancer as we see here and affiliated to our bucket. Now, what's important here is once the load balancer gets created, you'll see here it does have a certificate affiliated with it, an SSL policy networked here, and we see here the backend buckets at the bottom and an IP address. So So now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this IP address from the load balancer. And then you're going to go to whatever is your platform where you're managing your domain. In my case, it's Squarespace. Click the domain that we want to manage, then click DNS on the left and scroll down to where we have the option to delete from what we did in part 2. We're going to delete this www CNAME record. So go ahead and click the red trash icon and delete it. Okay, now that that's been deleted, we're going to add another www record, but this time it's going to be of type A, and the value is going to be, once again, that IP address that we copied earlier. And so we're going to paste that in there, the 103 from our load balancer, and click Save. Scroll down and you should be able to see that that's been there. And with these configurations that we used, you'll also be able to see in the load balancer that it is also going to be redirecting all of HTTP traffic to HTTPS, which is what we want. And that HTTPS is affiliated to our backend bucket, which is where our actual static website is hosted. Initially, you'll see here the certificate in the load balancer that is affiliated with it. And when I click it, it brings this up. Now, because we're just doing this in real time, it's going to show a status of provisioning. So this means that if I try to access the website, the certificate won't be available just yet. And this was 11 minutes ago. Just be patient with it. It might take up to 24 hours, but once the status shows as active as you see here, that it's been assigned a particular expiration date, once you go back to your website and then click on the security icon, you'll be able to see that the connection is secure and that the certificate is now valid. All there is to it, folks. You've now gone from idea to AI-built website to custom domain and finished by having a fully secured HTTPS site, all using free tools. If you ever get stuck, remember, you can rewatch part 1 for building and structuring the site. Then rewatch part 2 for domain and hosting setup. This series is designed to be replayed step by step. And if this helped you out, please be sure to like the video so more people can learn about this, and share it with someone who might benefit from watching it. And lastly, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future tech and AI related content. As always, folks, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.